Hi, I'm Sarah Marie. I'm a Jamberry Nails independent consultant, and I'm here to show you the perfect nail wrap application. Nothing I'm doing today is unusual or a special trick. It's just the right way to do it, and some things that some people just miss along the way. Things get lost in translation. So I'm just going to do my nails. I did the rest of them last night. This is the beautiful dipped in gold color, which is an ombre that starts dark and goes up to gold. It's so pretty. I absolutely love it. So I have two nails. I'm going to do one where it's just me talking through it like crazy, crazy detailed. And the next one I'm going to do it in real time. That way you can see that it doesn't take nearly as long as it sounds when you're actually doing it and not discussing it. So here we go. I'm going to start off with making sure that your nail prep is perfect. Now, this is actually extremely important. Your nail prep is probably the most important thing you can do for a good application. And not only that, but most people don't do their nail prep well enough, and that's the reason that they don't stay on. Your nail prep should take just about as long as any other part of the entire thing. So putting on your wrap would take putting on all your wraps would take just as long as doing all of your nail prep. So what you do first is you push back your cuticles. I have the Jamberry cuticle pusher that I use. So you push back your cuticles. Now these are just your regular cuticles, the ones everybody knows that they have. So that's not a big deal. It doesn't take a long time if you regularly do your nails. And then after that, what you want to do is you want to scrape off your hidden cuticles. Now, yesterday I did this part because what I like to do is I like to put our strengthening base coat underneath everything I do, whether it's wraps or gel or polish or anything, because I do my nails for a living and this is what I do. I like my nails to stay strong, so I take really good care of them, and one of those things is putting on the base coat every time. So I actually don't have to worry about my hidden cuticles because I put the base coat right on top of it, so I don't have to do this part. But it's extremely important that you do if you're not using a base coat. So what you do is a lot of times right next to your nail over here, there's hidden cuticles that you don't even know are there, hence the hidden part. And what you have to do is you have to actually scrape them off. Like you have to get in there with gumption and scrape off the cuticles. They're lying on top of your nail bed, and you don't really notice them until you start to scrape them, but when you do start to scrape them, they'll be kind of white. So you go all the way around the side of your nails and scrape those suckers off. That's really, really important. People don't push back their cuticles, and people don't take care of their hidden cuticles, and because they don't, the nail wrap can't stay on their nail. So this part's really important, so take some time getting those off. If you do your nails regularly, you're not going to have to spend a ton of time on this, but your first time you would spend a lot of time on this, because if you're not already taking care of your hidden cuticles, it will take a long time. So there's that. So we'll save a lot of time by me not doing that and just telling you about it. And then once you're done with that, you want to prep your nail. You can also buff it a little bit. I'm not going to do that because, as I said again, I have the strengthening base coat, so I don't need to buff it. I try to buff my nail as little as possible just so it stays really strong. But you would just buff it lightly just to make sure that everything's good. If you're doing your nail on a regular basis, again, this doesn't have to be a lot, but the first time it'd be more, but you want your nails to be nice and smooth. So those are the keys for a good prep. You push your cuticles back, you sucker off those hidden cuticles, you buff your nail lightly, and then you cleanse it. So you can go wash your hands with like a Dawn soap or something that has a grease fighter in it. Don't use a hand soap because that has moisturizers in it. But I use the Jamberry and Nail Prep Cleanser just because I can. I get a discount on the product, so why not? So I do that, and then you're just going to wipe that off. Now remember, I have that strengthening base coat on, so you'd think I wouldn't need to do this, but I still do because I put it on last night when I was doing the rest of my nails. And so since then, I'm sure that I've touched my nails and gotten some oils on them. So this is not a la-di-da, just kind of do this. This is a hard sucker, get in the cuticles, make sure that all the oil is off your nails kind of a thing. This is a big step. Say nail prep is key. It is key to getting good nails. Okay, so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my mini heater. You can use a hairdryer too if you need to. This is just much quieter and more convenient, so that's what I use. I'm going to go ahead and point down the nails and do it now so that you can see exactly what I'm doing while I do this. Excuse me. All right, so here's my sheet. Oops, excuse me. Here's my sheet of nail wraps. As you can see, I've been using them all. And I'm going to first measure the nail that I'm going to do. I already know which one it is just because I do my nails all the time. But what you would do is you would just hold it up to your nail. And what you want is to hold it up and see that there is a little gap on the sides of your nails. When you're doing this, there should be a gap. Smaller is better in the case of Jamberry. You don't want it to completely cover your nail, because if it completely covers your nail, then it's going to be too big and it's going to get on the sides, and you do not want that. So I pick one that looks perfect but shows a little bit of sliver on both sides, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this nail. Now when you're grabbing your nail, you want to kind of bend your sheet and bend your sheet like this. Can you see that? And then it will kind of pop up, and use your orange stick. Never, ever, ever use your fingers because you don't want the oil to get on the back of your nail wrap. So use your orange stick like this and just peel it right off. Easy peasy. And I have it right about in the middle there, which is probably about good. So then I'm just going to heat it up only for a little bit, just until it starts to curl a little bit. It's not this long heating thing. You can do that later. And then what I'll do is I want to center the middle right in the back, pretty close. Now, did you see that right there? I kind of lifted it up again because I got it in the wrong spot. You can definitely do that. That's why you want to be kind of delicate at the beginning. So I have this on. It is, I'm going to check it, look at it from this angle. Yep, it's right centered on my nail. I'm sure that it's straight. It looks good, but I haven't pressed down yet, and that is on purpose. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press down just in the middle, right here, up to the cuticle. Sorry, I'm having problems with my throat today. Up to the cuticle, all the way, and it's not laying on the cuticle. There's a teeny tiny gap here. And then all the way down to the tip, just in the center. Okay, just in the center. And then I'm going to heat up a little bit more to get that nice and moldy again. Moldable. Moldy is not the right word. Let me get you a little more light here so you can see. And then I'm going to do the side. So I'm going to start on the back. Now this is really important. Start in the back and press it down in the back. See it just press down a little bit in the back? Now that looks like a wrinkle about to form, right? We don't want that. So what's going to happen is when I'm doing this, I'm pushing out the wrinkles as I do this. I'm using my cuticle pusher and I'm pushing out the wrinkles. I'm trying to do this in the best way that you can see. Pushing out my wrinkles. I'm going up from the side here, on the side, pushing my wrinkle up, because basically I'm going to push it right off my nail. Like this. And then voila, there it is at the end there. And do you see how it looked like it was going to wrinkle? And then now it did not wrinkle because I pushed it off. And a reason that worked so successfully is because I heated it up again. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to heat it up right here. I'm going to go from the back. I'm trying to do this so you can see it. It's a little crazy. There we go. There we go. And I'm going from the back. And see how I'm kind of going the center in? Because remember, I'm pushing out. Ooh, that's hot. I'm pushing out my wrinkle. I'm getting the wrinkle out. Now, I'm almost going to kind of try to intentionally make a bad wrinkle here so I can show you how to get it out. But what I'm doing here is, see, I'm going from the center. See, I'm going from the center, and I'm pushing my wrinkle out, pushing it off here. I'm basically pushing it off my nail. Okay, now, I've made myself a little wrinkle there, right? I'm trying to make it so you can see it. You see that? Yep, there. Now you can see it right there. So what I'm going to do is show you how to get rid of that. So what you're going to do is you're going to heat up your nail. Heat it up. And then you're gently, I'm using the tips of my fingers because I know I'm not going to use this part, but don't forget that you want to never ever touch the bottom where the nail tip's going to go. and I just pull it up just a little bit, and then I just get it right back down. It's as simple as that. I just go over here, and I stretch it, and I pull the wrinkle right out of the wrap. It is just that simple. So all I'm doing now is smoothing it down. Now you can use the cuticle pusher or your fingers. I'm kind of using the cuticle pusher to get my big fingers out of the way, but usually actually I just use my thumbs. I don't even use the cuticle pusher this much, except for the finishing touches at the end. So now I have a nail wrap that is perfectly on there. I have no ridges or bumps of any kind. I have this part right here, there's a sliver, and on the other end there's a sliver, and that is right. Okay, so I've got that on. It's nice and smooth all the way to the top, no wrinkles. Now I'm going to cut it. Okay, and the important part there, as I'm cutting this because everyone knows how to cut, but the important part there was to do the center part first from cuticle to tip, and then to go from the inside out up the sides. Alright, so now I've cut it. So now I'm pretty darn close to finished here because it's cut, it looks on there, it probably looks about done. It's not, of course, because I have to file. And this part, oh, look at you again. So I've got that. And then what you want to do is you want to file at an angle. I actually want a sliver of my nail to show. And the reason I want that is because if I'm itching something or scratching something, excuse me, if I'm scratching something, I don't want my nail wrap to come up because I scratched something. So I actually want a tiny sliver of my nail to show. Okay? So go straight down, never ever ever go up because then it will again pop the nail wrap right up. But I'm going at an angle only in a downward motion. Okay, make sure this isn't a mistake that I see a lot of times. Make sure that you actually get the sides, because a lot of times what I see is people kind of file this part on the top and then they don't round off the edges too. You do want to get the sides of your nails also like this. Okay, get this side over here. And all I'm doing is I'm making sure that that space all around my nail is even, basically. I want it to be a tiny sliver. I wonder if you can see. Tiny, tiny, tiny sliver of my nail showing at the bottom there. Okay, so there's a teeny tiny bit. We're almost done. Now this is like at this point, it's pretty much done. Now this is where my perfectionism part comes through. I like to make sure that I'm not gonna feel it. I don't like it when it feels itchy. It drives me crazy. So this is the perfectionist part. So technically you're done. You could heat it up again and smooth it all down just for good measure. But so technically you'd be done here. Now these are my tips to get a very, very clean application because I don't like when it bothers me. Obviously, I don't know who does. Let me grab my buffer. So I just have a buffing block. And then you just go down in the same motion as your nail file. And I like to really get on the top there, all the way around my nail. See, I'm going all the way around. And I'm getting it so it feels nice and straight. And then I actually kind of go underneath my nail too and file in there too, because a lot of times what happens is there's little bitty parts underneath your nail that kind of get filed in there. And so I'll use my nail to get under there. Can you see that? Yeah, see, it looks a little crummy on the top now because that was like hiding underneath my nail. So what I do is I just pull it out like this, and then I just kind of scrape it right back off because it's like hanging on by a tiny thread. And so I'll do that. And the buffing is what kind of reveals that. So I'll do that, and then I kind of buff just a teeny bit underneath my nail to get that smooth too. Yes, so much better. Oh my gosh. And that is how I get a very smooth tip. I mean, it looks perfect, it feels perfect. This is the way I like my nails to look. I like them to be perfect. I'm definitely a perfectionist, and because I'm a perfectionist, I always have perfect nails, which is good with me. So if you want to be a perfectionist, just join the party. So that is how you do a complete application. That's done. There isn't any more. I am going to do it one more time just to show you that doesn't take that long. So I'm just going to do it without explanation. Well, unless I feel like it, then maybe I will explain something. Okay. Here we go. Measure. Pull up with the orange stick. Never, ever, ever touch the bottom. I like, for good measure, right before I do it, sometimes, especially on some of my nails, they have like an extra moldable cuticle, so sometimes they'll like come closer. So on my nails that are like that, I actually push the tips down for a second right before I do it. All right. Oops, putting it down right in the middle, close to the back, but definitely not on the cuticle. Release that. Go all the way to the tip. Make sure it looks nice and straight, because I could heat that up and pull it back off if I had to. It's nice and straight. Never touch the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to use my finger because that's actually the way I normally do it. Back from the center in. Just taking that wrinkle, pushing it out. Now the other side. Taking the wrinkle, saying, "No wrinkle, you can't have me." Ha! Perfect. See how fast that was? That doesn't take a long time. Get my scissors. Okay, there's that. Smooth it down. I might heat it up again. Smooth it down just for good measure. All right. Now I'm doing the grooming process for each nail right after I'm doing it for demonstration purposes, but usually what I do is I do the cutting part on all the nails, and then when I'm done with the whole hand, then I groom the whole hand all at once. I find that it just takes me less time. I think it's a psychological thing. Okay, I got a sliver on all sides. Now I do my finishing touches. Turn the heater off. Go buff all the way around. I like to go underneath there. Find all those little parts of my nails that are stinging on. Scrape them off. Now I'm not worried about scraping them off because I've already filed at an angle. So because I've filed at an angle, I know I'm not going to scrape off my nail wrap too. I'm only scraping off the excess nail. There's one little piece right there that's stubborn, so I'm going to file it. And then it comes right off. See, I wouldn't have known about that if I didn't do this under thing. So I really, really, really like to get underneath there. Make it nice and good. Nice and smooth. Under my nail and on top of my nail. And then it doesn't bother me. A lot of people feel bothered by coarse tips. I am one of those people. Boom. And that is how you do it. Okay, I'm sorry this video was so long, but I hope it helps because there's a lot of things in there that some people don't realize you need to do. So there you go.